Hello and welcome to Beyond the Plate with Carol, where we will explore food and a little beyond. So come along with me on this journey and see what we uncover. We are here at the Beacon building, studio at the Beacon, and I have to tell you, I am so excited about this one. I've been hearing so much about what you are building, Kelley-Sue, from the Sleazy Vegan. Welcome, and I'm so glad you came in today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm pretty excited to talk about it.
Yeah. So 25 years in tech, director of engineering, and then you walked away to cook vegan food. I have so many questions, but let's start here. What was actually going on in your life when that shift kind of happened with you?
So before we started the actual business, I'd probably been talking myself out of it for at least a year, 2 years. All of my colleagues and mentors were obviously in tech because that's where I'd spent the majority of my adult career. And they all thought that I needed an intervention. Somebody actually called and asked if I had stapled my head to the floor when they found out this is what I was doing. And did I need to talk to somebody? You know, buying a sailboat and starting a restaurant business was red flags all over the place. But I'd been trying to talk myself out of it. And it was one of those things that it wouldn't leave me alone. And I tend to think in systems. And I felt like there was a food breakdown. The system of getting food to people and what we know and what we put in our bodies was broken, and that I had figured something out and I couldn't not do this.
I love it. I love it. So, you know, the tech career, that wasn't a side hustle.
Mm-hmm.
That was a real career, a long one. What made you willing to leave all that behind? You said you've been thinking about it. So what wouldn't leave you alone?
It was health issues, right? So once you do something that makes you afraid for your life and then you're not dead, you kind of aren't afraid of anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple before, after moments in my life. This is one of them where I really thought, I'm not going to live to be 50. Bought a house that feels like vacation every 5 minutes because I figured I was never going to get one, and was really pretty mortal and was feeling very, very mortal. And so this changed, honestly, within 2 months of this particular prototype on how to maybe not die, I was so much better and so confused about why I had just spent 8 years declining. So it was that, I just couldn't not talk about it. I couldn't not share it with other people.
So were you always a vegan?
No.
Okay, so you changed for a healthier lifestyle. Is that?
So I really didn't know what was wrong with me. I was reading the New England Medical Journal for ideas. I tried all the things, doctors, different specialists. Nobody could talk about what was wrong with me. Chronic pain. First thought in my head every morning was pain. And the last thought I had every night was pain. And I had tried 2019. I went keto for 100 days. So totally the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Bacon, eggs, cheese, nonstop. So I did that for 100 days because I'm a prototyper, right? So made great brain on keto. No highs and lows, super smart. I was still doing the tech thing. I loved that. My watch was you might die of a heart attack a couple of times during that 100 days. And my cholesterol went through the roof, and it was okay, having a healthy brain and a little less pain is still not sustainable.
Right, not right.
So then the next and last thing that I could try was going fully plant-based. And so I did. And it was it wasn't anything that I even believed in. This
interesting.
Literally just desperation.
Because my Tyler did it for a few years, a few years back. But back then the vegan stuff was yucky.
Yeah.
It really wasn't good.
No.
So
even just a few years ago, a lot of it wasn't good. I went through a lot of, $16 vegan cheeses that you took one bite of and then you put it in the trash and you're how is this a national brand?
Right.
How long have these people been suffering?
Right. Okay. So real quick, for anybody that might be just tuning in, I'm sitting here with Kelley-Sue LeBlanc, or you go by KSL. I like that. I had to bring that up because she came into the office and she says, I'm KSL. And I'm like, Kelley-Sue LeBlanc. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's KSL. I like that. I like that. Founder of the Sleazy Vegan in Concord, New Hampshire. You can find them at thesleazyvegan.com. On Instagram at the Sleazy Vegan Food Truck. Okay, so you're not feeling good. You're in a lot of pain. You decide to go plant-based. So how did that happen? Because that's pretty huge. Because isn't there a difference between, vegan and vegetarian?
Yeah. So the difference, vegetarian is you can still have animal byproducts, right? So you could have milk, you could have eggs, because those come from an animal, but you're technically not eating an animal. I suppose the egg is debatable. Honey, maybe that's like the most innocent one, right? Like as a vegetarian, you can have honey, but as a vegan, you can't because it's an animal byproduct.
Okay.
There's a lot I didn't know about veganness. It's a really loaded word and it means different things to different people depending on what they had for breakfast that day and where their body chemistry is. People get really heated. I learned the hard way a few months into our gig how loaded that word could be. But for me, I just was trying to not be sick. And so that was plant-based, which equates to vegan, as long as I think the difference between plant-based and vegan, a true vegan would tell you that the difference between plant-based diet and vegan is that the reason that if you eat plant-based for your own health and not to save the lives of animals, then you're plant-based.
Oh, okay.
But if the reason that you do it is because you care for the animals, that is what makes you vegan.
Interesting.
That is kind of what I have learned.
So take me back to when you decided that. And then, what did you do? Did you just look up recipes on the internet?
Sort of. The first 2 weeks was kind of...
Or just start eating salads.
Like the first 2 weeks, I've always been a cooker person, right? Like I love that. And that's
a cooker person. I like that.
That's the creative part of me, right? I'm a creative person. I can't, the reason software was okay for me, but QA wasn't, is the same reason I could never be like a performer, right? Can you imagine? I could never be Mick Jagger singing Satisfaction 50 years later with the same amount of enthusiasm as I did on the first time. Like, I can't do the same thing exactly the same over and over again. I'll poke myself in the eye. So cooking is great. Plants, especially, because it's never the same experience twice. They have different water content, different fiber, like all of that is so captivating to me. And it's always different and it always allows you to be creative. So I was excited to try things, but super limited because of how I grew up and where I grew up. And right, I'm a New Hampshire girl. What do you mean you put veggies in the pan without butter? Like,
yeah, right.
How do you make a soup without a bone? Is it soup? What about gravy? What do you make?
Okay, so how do you do that?
What's crazy? So there's so many things that I learned, but for the first 2 weeks, it was like, okay, we made a really cool stir fry. And then we made some great, rice dishes and then some really awesome salads and some pasta. And is that all I'm going to eat for the rest of my life?
Right.
I was just like, what?
Right. Okay.
This is not sustainable either. Like, I can't just eat rice and pasta every day.
So how are you feeling at this point? You're
better.
A month in.
I was 2 weeks in and I was feeling already better, to the point where I was like, don't understand what's going on. But now I'm like, okay, we got to figure this out, because I've hit my first real hurdle, right? Like, I don't know if I can eat the same 4 things for the rest of my life.
Right.
So I found some help. There's a couple of guys from Ireland. I used to do some business in Ireland. My business partner was from Ireland, a lot of friends and family over there. So I got to know these guys called the Happy Pear.
Oh, PEAR?
Yes.
Okay.
Brothers that are vegan and have done tremendous work for their community. They teach cooking classes. They have a restaurant. They have a bakery. They have a coffee roastery. They have a spot in Dublin Airport. They have prefab food. And back then, they had this YouTube channel. They were for people of my generation, the Saturday Night Live, we're here to pump you up, guys.
Yeah.
They're that.
Okay.
But younger.
Now, how long ago was this? How big?
2020.
Okay, so not that long ago.
2019. 2019.
Okay. All right.
Not that long ago.
Okay.
Feels like a million years ago, but 2019. So they offered cooking classes and I signed up and did a fundamentals of plant-based cooking. And that
must have opened up your world.
Made so much sense to me afterwards.
Now I can do this.
And it's right? Like you're like, oh, why didn't I think of that? But it's just because it's not the way we did it.
Okay, bring me back to that. When you were taking those lessons with the guys, what was like the dish that opened your eyes like that and made you go, oh my gosh, now I can do this. It opened up. I can see how you just explained it too.
So it was more about, again, I'm a process kind of system-y person. So it's more about the multiple stages of cooking and the life cycle of the food, right? So that's the thing that clicked for me in those classes, is that if you're only eating plants and you go to the grocery store on Sunday, right, and you don't want to go every single day, and you don't want it to taste exactly the same, because if you just like steam or pan fry a piece of broccoli, it's always going to taste just like a piece of broccoli.
Right.
And that could get kind of boring. Even though it's wonderful and fresh, it's still like, okay, another piece of broccoli. This is about being able to develop flavors and textures and techniques through the life cycle of the week and the life cycle of the food. So what I took from that lesson with them is that on day one, we're going to eat mostly raw, right? So if you shop on a Sunday night, we're having a kick-ass salad.
Okay.
Monday, we're taking what was left over from our salad and something else, and we're going to make a stir fry. So we're going to gently cook our veg. Not a lot, but some. And then on day 3, we're going to take that leftover that's already seasoned with something.
Right.
We're going to cook it a little bit more. Maybe it's going to go in the oven. Maybe we're going to roast it a little bit. Maybe we're just going to steam it more. Maybe whatever we're going to do. We're going to do texture, right? We're going to cook it more. So now we're breaking down those fibers. We're adding another set of seasoning agents to it. So, Sunday was a salad. Monday, we went ginger orange for our stir fry. Tuesday, I'm going Mexican, and I'm going to cook it down a little bit more, and I'm going to make it in tacos. And then I'm going to take that leftover and I'm going to add some more to it. And I'm going to make a soup, and I'm going to add some Indian spices or whatever. I'm going to pick a different flavor profile, throw those seasonings in it. So each day you're taking what you had the day before and those layers of seasonings and that veg, and you're changing it while adding some more fresh stuff to it.
Okay.
And then
kind of see it. So you're building up on it.
Yeah. That's how you can get crazy complex flavors and no waste. And you don't have to go to the store every day. And you're never going to get the same flavor combination twice. You're not going to get bored because you're just picking different flavor profiles and then building on that. And so, let's say we got to soup day. So maybe soup is 3 or 4. And the next day, you're going to take that soup, you're going to cook it down more, put your immersion blender in there, add some red lentils, make some rice. And now you've got a gorgeous dal that's loaded with seasons and totally really good for you and tastes like nothing you've eaten all week. And you have no waste.
See, you make me want to go vegan.
It's so much fun.
Gosh. I bet it is.
It is so, and it's so much like the duh moment is like, if we get in the habit, right, you eat the same things, even if, let's say, you are attentive to your diet and you don't eat the same things every week, but you cycle through every 2, right? Like, yeah, that's a lot. That's a big stretch for most households, right? We're shopping for the same stuff every week.
Pretty much.
We're having the same stuff at least every 2 weeks. This is not like that. Like, I eat so many different things and so many different flavor profiles and vegetables, and my body has to be better just from the diversification I'm getting in my diet, right? Because diversity is strength. It is resilience. It is all of that. And when you eat the same thing over and over again, you're not really getting the rest of the stuff. Yes, you can see I get a little...
No, I love it. I know. You're a dream, believe me, dream guest. All right. So you're doing this, you take those lessons. Now you must be really feeling good. I mean, you must know now that this plant-based is making a big difference with your health.
I'm hopeful, right? So for the first time in a while, I'm hopeful. I don't hurt when I first wake up. I don't hurt when I'm going to bed. I am, isolated to the one weird shelf in the fridge from my kids, right? Like mom's weird shelf. But I'm making dates with myself where I'm making something for me that is complex in order to get those flavors. And I'm spending 3 hours making myself dinner and then enjoying every minute of it.
Now, the kids, do they dabble in it?
Oh, yeah. The difference, even the trickle-down effect is tremendous. Tremendous.
Are they full vegan or?
No.
Okay.
No. And I'm the sleazy vegan, right? Like I don't identify with any of the Aryans. Like it's just labels and boxes that other people feel like they need to put people in. I've never, ever been a person who believes in boxes. I just don't, it's just not my mojo. I'm inclusive. I think we're all everything. It just depends on what day of the week you catch us.
So are you saying then that sometimes you're not vegan?
So, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
okay. I like that.
I've always imagined that I'm still going to live on a sailboat for some period of time in my life. So I do still eat seafood.
Okay.
Maybe once a month. I make sure that I do.
So definitely no red meat.
Oh, God, no. I haven't. And since I've never had, I don't go out of my way to eat anything like that. Everything that I've taken out of my diet has been kind of a hard no when I've reintroduced it. Yep. Right? Like cow dairy will ruin my life for a couple days. It's not a good experience. It's not worth it. It's not it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely not worth it. Could I have maybe a pizza that had goat cheese on it and take a piece of that and not hate myself? I might.
Okay.
I might.
All right, I like that.
But I don't do any of this for anybody else's definitions.
Yeah.
And why they do it for themselves is wonderful. And I'll support all of that. But a big part of what we do is, again, I want to feed everybody. I don't care who you are or what the situation is. I want to feed y'all.
So when did you, because you said you had been thinking about Sleazy Vegan for a while. People are telling you you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you, and we need to talk about the name. So talk me through that. How did that, so you're doing it, you're feeling good, you want to now leave the tech company or tech, world.
Yeah.
And you want to.
So this is, I want to say through 2019, I actually looked at, we're supposed to be working with SNHU to do a market research analysis in Manchester to see if this environment, this town, would support a fully vegan restaurant. And I secretly wanted a non-alcoholic bar to see how that would fly here. And that was supposed to start in March of 2020.
Bam.
Uh-huh.
The whole world stopped.
And so I was like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe I dodged a bullet, right? Like I didn't rent space. I'm not up to my hips in something, waiting for trying to prove this out with the market research analysis and all that. So maybe I dodged a bullet. So I'm back to work. I'm doing what I do. And it was a busy time because all of the clients that we had needed us more than ever because we moved people to the cloud, right? So we made it possible for everybody to do everything that they were doing remotely. So that was a wonderful moment, tech-wise, that we were able to be valued and deliver high-value stuff for our folks. But it wasn't, after that, it wasn't like I was getting a lot of, happy feels from it. But I did start coming back to life, I guess, in other ways, right? Yeah. Like when you're sick for such a long time, you just keep losing pieces of yourself and you don't even realize it till you're just like, not even really here.
Okay. So when did you bite that bullet and said, this is it?
Fell in love with a guy and wanted to have a way for us to spend more time together. So I was fantasizing about how would we have a business where I could do this thing and we could spend more time together and might actually be able to get ourselves on this sailboat. And so that's, what I'm noodling for most of 2020 and talking myself out of it every week until the fall. I think it was September of 2020. And then we talked about it. I had menus and all this stuff. I didn't know the name yet. The name wasn't a given. The name kind of came all at once. And then when it did, I think as soon as the name came to me, and I laughed myself to tears like a child and told my daughter, and she was mortified.
That's even better.
I went and filed the LLC, and I was like, that's it. This is happening. We're just doing it.
Good.
Yeah.
I just love that. So, I mean, you've been very intentional about this idea that you don't have to be vegan to eat here. That is almost the opposite of how, most plant-based businesses market themselves, right? Why was that important to you from the beginning?
I made a mistake of not, again, knowing the veganness of things, right? And I was just really excited to be feeling better and really, really hyped over the food, hyped over plant-based food, and hyped over the sustainability of it, and hyped over how many health situations can be resolved by this. I'm just hyped on it, right? So fully energized, went out to an upscale vegan spot. My first night going out for dinner in a long time. I wore my fancy Italian boots with my fancy Italian handbag. And I was made to feel really, really uncomfortable because they were not what you should be wearing to an upscale vegan place.
I didn't even click.
Yeah, didn't click for me either. I didn't really get it. Like the penny hadn't dropped on that stuff yet. And I got it afterwards and was pretty embarrassed and uncomfortable. And so then when I was messing around with the names of like, what are we going to call this thing? I was playing with the letters S and V for sailing vessel, because that's part of like the drive, right?
Yeah.
At least back then it was. That was part of the drive. So I was playing with S and V. And when Sleazy Vegan popped into my head, I just thought that was too perfect. I was like, you're going to treat me sleazily for not being all the way in. I'm just going to own that and I'm going to run with it. And that's where that came
Good
from.
for you. I love that. I really do. Like you said, you don't care about the isms and the boxes and the, I'm this and I'm that and I'm, you know what I mean? You're doing you. That is like the perfect name and why you came up with it. I love it.
It was hysterical.
I mean,
I came down the stairs and told my
Have
daughter,
you gone back to that place yet?
No. And I would never call them out, but I also wouldn't patronize them because I just don't think that that's the thing. I just don't think that turning people away from this choice is the right idea. Right? Like I don't care if I feed you once or once a month or once a week or once a day, but I want to feed you and I want people to know that it's approachable and that it's not weird and it doesn't just taste like stuff and it's not going to have a weird texture. I want that because I want them to try again. Because I do think that this can make a huge difference in your health and in the health of the planet and in the food systems that we have that are so screwed up. I think that this is a really big win all the way around. I can't see any reason why we wouldn't want more people to do this. So having any kind of judgment or shame associated to it is just not happening on my watch.
Love it. So I read something you wrote about the business that stopped me. You said, perfect can get in the way of progress, and that every time you make a choice that is better, you're helping make the world better. Better is better. Where did this outlook come from?
Probably coding. I mean, it's probably right back to being
your roots,
being an iterative person, right? I mean, it's always in any kind of art, I feel like artists are that, right? Because whatever you had in your head originally,
I was married to one,
isn't what comes out at the end, right? It was the inspiration for what got there, but it's never a one for one. You didn't imagine exactly what you got. That's just not how art works. But you do take steps and you do make progress and then you do compromise and accept what the reality of your situation is. And then you build on that and like better is better. And so that's the same in art. It's the same in software, right? We work in an iterative way where what we try to do is, or at least then, now there's many different paradigms for it, but then we called it failing fast on purpose, right? You wanted to break it. You wanted to make sure that if it was going to break, you knew. And you got to that breaking point as quickly as possible because that's where you're going to spend the least amount of money trying to fix it and have the least amount of consequences for the breakage. So we worked that way. That was always kind of our design.
So because you could have gone the other direction, full purity, strict rules, very clear lines about what is and what isn't vegan, You chose not to. Did that ever cost you customers or credibility?
I mean, sure.
In the vegan community?
Sure. I think that's also part of why I loved the name Sleazy Vegan so much, right? Because it
makes you stop and
well, it's scary for me. I just didn't want to have that feeling again, right? Like I didn't want someone to come up to the food truck and to be like, you're not what I wanted. You're not the perfect vegan. And so then to be disappointed in what I was giving them, I just didn't want that feeling again. So I wanted folks to know what they were getting before they ever got there.
Okay.
So if you are this, whatever, I won't have words for, if you're this person who thinks that that's not for you, I want you to know before you get there. And that's okay. If we don't have to be for everyone,
right?
That's okay. But we are for everyone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So
I can't wait to go. I really can't.
I can't wait to feed you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so the beginning, you decide you're doing this with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You launched the LLC in September 2021, I think.
Yep.
You went live as a ghost kitchen in April of 2022.
Yeah.
What were those first few months like?
Well, the ghost kitchen wasn't on purpose, right? So this is COVID that we're talking about.
I remember ghost kitchens. Everybody's like, what is a ghost kitchen?
Yeah.
Now it's just so...
I didn't know what it was either.
Yeah.
We had been working with another team to develop a truck, right? So I wanted my food truck, but I wanted my food truck to be kitted out like I would want my sailboat to be kitted out, right? Like I wanted batteries and not petrol. I wanted the kitchen to be running on batteries and not propane. I wanted something sustainable, right? Like this is part of the gig.
Right.
So we were designing something. It was super cool. I was really stoked about it. It was coming in around $80K. And then by like February of the following year, I mean, the canals were blocked up. Everything was out. The generator that we were looking for kept being pushed out by 6 and 8 weeks at a time. And so the prices just kept going up and up and up. And the kit out on the vehicle that we were looking at went from $80K to $150K in like 2 months.
Yeah.
And I was like, this vehicle is never going to appreciate double,
right?
No matter what I do with it. So like ixnay on the truck, we're not doing that. And everybody was being paid PPE money. So even if they weren't in business, they were just sitting on their kitchens because they were still making a living. They didn't have to rent it out. They didn't have to take the risk of having anybody in there. So it was a bunch of kitchens that were closed but wouldn't let me use them. And so we just had to get really creative, and we reached out and talked to Manchester Housing Authority, and they had a few buildings where their kitchens were sitting defunct because those places used to feed their residents, but they didn't anymore.
Right.
And so we ended up getting a gig where we were able to go in and use a Manchester Housing Authority kitchen solely as our own, and we would feed their residents for free every week and make donations.
Okay.
That's how we got live. That was our ghost kitchen.
So you did eventually get a food truck.
We did a couple months later. One of our customers, who actually was a tremendous family, they have been super supportive of us the whole time, had emailed and said that they used to go to this place called the Hungry Caterpillar, and that they had a food truck, but they didn't think they were using it anymore. And just a heads up. So then I did a little research and found them and reached out. And it's a young couple. They are also farmers, and they had done, the Hungry Caterpillar had been a completely vegan food truck. I think they ran it for 2 seasons, 1 or 2 seasons. And they weren't going to do it again that year because they had got more land to farm, and they just weren't going to be able to do both things, and they wanted to farm. So we went and we bought the truck, Aggie. We went and got Aggie.
Yeah. I love that name. How did you come up with that
I
name?
didn't. It's what she came with.
Okay.
They named her Aggie, and
you have the name.
Again, I know enough that you do not rename things without proper christenings, and so we weren't going to change the name. And Aggie became the big part of our life for the next 3 years.
Okay, so you've got the ghost kitchen. You've got Aggie out on the road.
Yep.
And then Pembroke City Limits comes into the picture. That Pembroke chapter sounds like a real partnership.
It was what I like to say, a collaboration of brands.
Okay.
I am, again, repeating myself, but I'm a prototyper, right? So a food truck is the right way to prototype a restaurant, in my opinion. Does the food work? Does the menu work? Do your prices work? So the food truck was always a prototype adventure for something other.
Okay.
One of the things that we were considering with the brand development is, could we put something like the Sleazy Vegan food truck in at breweries or other small places where right now what you get are pretzels and Fritos? And could we put a kitchen in that could do something like this for less than the price of a food truck, smaller than a food truck? So Pembroke City Limits, they reached out to us. We had mutual friends, friend of a friend, asked if I would be interested. I think initially he was thinking it wasn't going to be where it ended up opening and that it was going to be in Concord, I think. And would we bring our food truck and be the food for this music venue? And I was like, yeah, it sounds like a great gig. I don't know if we can be there all the time. We have to work it out. So we chatted back and forth through 24 and then, no, 23. In 23, we were chatting that back and forth. And then in 24, he found the place in Pembroke. And so then we started getting serious about it. Went to the town meetings and helped design this little kitchen that would be a Sleazy Vegan kitchen. And it was smaller than the food truck, with less equipment than the food truck. I mean, the full kitchen kit out with equipment and everything is probably less than 30.
Wow.
And what kind of menu can we do here?
Right.
And have no hood vent and no need for fire suppression and no need for all the other stuff that's like the biggest barrier for folks trying to open a restaurant, right? Like those are big expenses. So can we make something small, low cost that can deliver big value? And so that's how we got there. And so that was a collaboration of brands. We were separate entities. They kind of ran everything and they provided the servers, if you will. And all we did was kitchen staff and food and menu development. And then they ran the show.
Okay. And how were people reacting to your food?
The same as on the food truck. Pembroke, again, it's like, I'm a strong believer in like, do the black diamond first, right? Because then you won't be scared anymore. Nobody in Pembroke ever asked for vegan anything one day in their life, right? Like this is not the mecca of veganism. So at the beginning, it was curiosity, but then a lot of pushback. We had a lot of folks that were like, oh, there's nothing on this menu I can eat. And they'd be like, right, chips and salsa have been a problem forever, right? And like, I can get away with that. I think also part of working with software developers for 25 years, it was great to be able to have like those kinds of little humorous battles with folks and, slide them a sausage hoagie with caramelized onions on a pretzel roll with mustard in front of them. And then I walk away and I go, eat it, don't eat it. I don't care. If you like it, put money in the tip jar and like, let them try. And then they would try and they'd be like, on the third bite, they're looking at you like you're a witch and you've done something magical, but they like it.
So cool.
And it's a great experience to watch people, change their thinking for a second.
Yeah.
And
like seriously, what is this?
Be willing to try.
Right.
So we did a lot of that. We did a lot of that work. It was a very hands-on thing. I mean, I was there every day, every hour for almost a full year, like making that happen.
So you lost that kitchen space.
They decided probably, I think it was September of the following year. So right after 1 year anniversary, they didn't want to do vegan anymore. They felt like it wasn't getting them what they thought that they could. And at the same time, Manchester Housing didn't want us to be in their kitchen space anymore.
So you were forced to find.
So we're like, okay, we need a new catering kitchen and we need a new retail space. So we found a new spot that wasn't new. We had done a couple of cooking classes up at State Street Kitchen the year before because they had this beautiful community kitchen space where you can, kind of pay by the hour to use the facility.
Okay.
And it was a great place to do intro courses. We do 4 different ways to make a vegan cheese sauce course and make your own potato gnocchi course and all that.
That's my favorite thing ever.
Me too. Make them. My favorite are the purple ones.
Ooh.
Purple potato gnocchi. We'll hook you up.
Yeah.
Those are really, really good. But so we did a couple cooking courses.
So is this where you're at now?
Yes.
Okay.
There. And then reached back out to say like, hey, do you have the capacity for us to come and use this as our primary catering kitchen? And I still didn't think that we would have a retail storefront. So I was going to keep shopping around for other restaurant space and what could we do? The challenge is the size, right? Like for a vegan place in New Hampshire, We don't need 45 seats, right? You're not going to keep 45 seats full 5 nights a week in New Hampshire. It's just not going to happen. But 20, 25, like that's really you can't really go less than that unless you're going to work, 24 hours a day. So we were looking for things like that. And the front space of State Street Kitchen had previously been an art gallery. Yeah, a little art gallery. And then when we went up, they had moved out. So now that front space was available.
Okay.
And so we were able to rent that front space and give it a test drive as Sleazy Vegan Cafe. And that was October, November, December that we just did breakfast and lunch while we were still in Pembroke City Limits, kind of testing this out. And then in January, we finished in Pembroke. The 1st of February was our last service day in Pembroke. And then that Wednesday, we opened for dinner in Concord. And so now we're breakfast, lunch, dinner 4 days a week.
So what are your hours? Let people know your hours.
Right now, we just shifted for April so that we are open 8 to 8, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and 9 to 3 on Sunday.
Okay.
And we may extend for summer and add Wednesday back into the mix. But I felt like shifting Wednesday to Sunday was a better idea, partly just because I really like brunch and I want to make big brunches. And it's really hard to get vegan breakfast anywhere that isn't just like a avocado toast, or oatmeal. I just want like a full on brunch. And so everything that is on the menu is, 90% of why it's there is because I was really hungry and it's what I wanted. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make brunches on Sundays.
So is it you and your partner that are there every day? Do you have other employees?
Yeah, we have employees. We've picked up 2 more since we've moved to Concord, but we've got folks that have been with us for more than a year now. We've got folks that go to college, and so we get them when they're not in school, and then we get them when they come back, and that's always wonderful because we're getting to that time of year again where our people come back, and we're trying to develop more. I really would love to work myself out of the Concord area, work myself out of that spot as the primary so that Traf and I can test drive this brand outside of New Hampshire at some bigger events. I think we're at the stage where it's time to test drive it someplace else.
Now, do you still have the food truck?
We sold her last April.
Okay.
We sold her last April. We had put her in Tideline, which is another wonderful little spot. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's out in Durham, down the road from UNH. Beautiful little spot that has spaces for 7 permanent or semi-permanent food trucks. And we put her there in October one year and stayed through the following July. And then that July is when we opened Pembroke, and it was way too much to try to be doing the weddings that we had committed to for the summer and running Pembroke and doing the food truck out in Durham. It was too far back and forth for us to stretch. So we brought the truck back and sold her.
Okay. So you've said that you would be fired if you worked for anyone else because you never stop creating new menu items. What actually drives that? I mean, is it restlessness or is there something deeper?
No, it's the problem-solving part of it, the puzzling part of it that's so addictive, right? I can call and say, what are you not selling this week? I'll be like, we have so much celeriac, we don't know what to do with it. I want that problem. And then I want to solve that problem. And I want to use the stuff that nobody's buying in a way that's going to be yummy and wonderful and introduce. One of my favorite things that we do, we've been doing once a month a seated 6-course dinner where we chef it up, and I get to be more chefy and a little less cooker person. And that is, I've heard so far each time from folks that have been vegan for 20 years that they ate something that night that they'd never had in their life. That is such a
cool.
Yeah, it's such a win for me. That makes me feel so good to be introducing. I just love the idea of introducing something new and getting people to reframe whatever they're thinking all the time, and make space for something new. I love that whole part of it. So and I'm hungry. I'm hungry. The logo is because I'm a hungry girl. Eating plant-based is so different than regular food. As far as, the gap when you start to eat plant-based, the amount of food that you get to eat seems wrong. It seems like you should be limiting, right? Because the rest of the world, you have to limit how much what you're putting in your body. Plant-based, you can just eat until you're full 5 times a day and you're still okay. You don't have to, like, that was the biggest hurdle for me, like getting enough calories and making sure that I was doing enough to nourish my body, because you're just used to eating small little portions of vegetables alongside a giant portion of meat.
This episode is powered by Red Arrow Diner. All 4 locations officially open around the clock. Swing by Manchester, Nashua, Concord, or Londonderry whenever hunger hits. From pancakes at 2 a.m. to fries and gravy for breakfast, we've got your cravings covered. Red Arrow, New Hampshire's favorite 24-hour diner tradition. So you work with Fresh Start Farms and the Concord Food Co-op for ingredients. How important is that local sourcing to you?
I think it is the whole, like, essence of I want to be doing, right? It's great for sustainability. It makes sense for the things that I'm trying to stand up against, right? Like, I'm trying to stand up against a lot of Big Agra and a lot of decisions about our food system that I don't think were made malevolently. There was a lot of great reasons why we started to grow corn and fund farmers to grow corn, right? We had a Dust Bowl. We needed the homeless folks to get out of California and come back and do something. So we did this. But the long-term effect, generationally, and what that did to our food system and what it's done and how we do things is so broken now that coming back to seasonal, native is really a very, very good idea for our health and for the economy. That's part of my drive. It doesn't have to be something that the people we feed think about. Like, I don't want to make it a burden for anybody else. I don't even need it to be something that you think about when you come to me. I just want it to be part of what we do.
Right.
So
naturally,
in all of the places that we will ever be, I hope that we are able to be local and native as much as possible to that space.
Love it. For those of you tuning in, I am talking with KSL of the Sleazy Vegan over in Concord. Let me see here. Now, also, you mentioned a little bit earlier that you do some classes. Do you still do classes?
We do. It's not published yet, but it will be. I'm hoping we just shifted our hours so that now we're not in service on Wednesdays. So now Wednesdays will be our drop-in cooking class day.
Love it. Now, when you say drop-in.
Yeah. Like, you shouldn't have to necessarily, I don't want to exclude anybody. I want it to be very inclusive. If you don't want to commit 2 weeks out for, a $70 event, I'm going to cook this thing this Wednesday. If you want to
come and join.
Right. You want to stop in and see what I'm doing, come in and do that. So I want to do that. We've been doing the first Wednesday so far this year. The first Wednesday of every month, we have a Food is Medicine meetup, because food is the first medicine that there ever was, and we just forgot. So I'm trying to get educated, and each month I am pulling on different experts to come in and talk to us about how plants affect our health, our immunity, all the different things. And so that's another free meetup. I make some snacks, and we've been talking and trying to get actual people face to face. So I think it's the first time I've really wanted to do that. Like COVID, we were all really happy to not people.
I know.
Right? We're just like, no peopling, yay. And now it's like, I don't want to be on the internet anymore. I don't want to be on the internet anymore. I want to people again. And so we're
sitting at home every day. It was horrible.
For me, it was wonderful. Right? Like, I'm really an introvert, creative person. I can go color in a coloring book for 12 hours. You give me a rock and a stick and a paper bag, and I'm going to be entertained for a very long time. So I loved it. I, did yoga, had a great time. But the internet world and the way that we have lost connection with each other is not healthy.
Right. Totally.
So I'm trying to do that. And I just feel like I grew up in a time where I didn't get the knowledge of my grandparents. They were gone when I was very, very young. And I think that so much generational knowledge has been lost. We discounted it. We stopped sharing it. And I want to bring some more of that back. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I also just want to, you can check them out and get all this info at thesleazyvegan.com, correct?
Correct.
And then all on socials and stuff. My mother, I always say this in the podcast because, when you talk about a website, my mother's always like, www. It's like so funny. Now you can just really Google the name and it'll pop up, but thesleazyvegan.com. All right. So let's talk about awards and recognition that you've gotten. I mean, 4 years in a row, you've Best of 603, Best of New Hampshire, Best of New Hampshire from the Hippo Press, and now the Cappy Awards. That is not a lucky streak. What do you think you're doing that keeps getting you recognized?
I just get really goofy when I hear you talk about that because it gets me like I'm blushing. I'm hot.
And she is. Does it change how you operate or does it, make you want to create more?
Neither. It makes me like, I'm still just like, but you really liked it? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, but I made that. Did you really like it? It's still new. It's so different than any other business I've run. I've just figured this out in the last 6 months. Cooking is where you share your heart, right? It's nothing I've ever done as a profession before. So, I'm ripe. I'm like exactly the definition of the person who loses her shirt in a cooking business because I'm doing it for the love of it. And it's feeding people and nourishing people. And it's that get me all hot and sweaty. I think that's why the awards, right? Like people feel that and they support our brand because of that. I think us doing it well is not a given, right? Like we iterate, we fail fast. There's plenty of times I've made stuff and they're like, maybe no. And we put that in the trash and then we try again. But so that's also like, because I create new things, every week, we're able to keep the good ones and keep building on the list of good ones and keep doing that. So I think that's part of it. I think genuinely wanting to feed people from the purest place, right? Because I want you to experience what it's like to eat plants that won't feel like that. It's going to hit you like a meatball sub and you're going to be like, how is this a meatball sub?
Right.
And be like, doesn't matter.
Well, you made the comment, I think earlier in the podcast where you said 80% of your customers aren't vegan.
Yeah.
That's pretty huge.
It might,
and they keep coming back.
It might be more than that. Like it might actually be like 85%.
Pretty impressive.
I mean, it's by design. We make room on the menu for people who like me, right? So once I figured out that being plant-based made me feel better, then that meant something that I was eating before was making me sick.
Right.
So then you go out to dinner with friends and now you're the high maintenance person because you're like, but is there dairy in that? And they're like, no. And then it comes slathered in butter and you're like, is that butter? And they're like, yeah. Like, and now you're the person who's the trouble. You're the problem child. You're an issue. Nobody wants to go out to dinner like that. It's not a good, fun feeling. You're not getting to have that camaraderie and the joy of the event. It becomes an issue and a task, and then you stop going. You stop being included. They go out to dinner without you because they don't want to. So this is by design feeding everyone, right? So if you have a gluten issue, then I want you to be able to find something yummy on the menu that you can eat. If you have a soy issue, 90% of the stuff on the menu is soy free. You're going to be fine. And if you eat everything, cool, have a burger. It's going to feel like a burger and you're not going to realize that you're missing anything. So I want people to be able to come with their whole crew and eat and be satisfied and have nobody be the issue, right? Like everybody can actually just be fed.
I can't wait to go try this. Now, when I think of vegan, what automatically pops in my head is tofu.
Yeah.
Do you use that a lot?
I have a tofu burger for the first time since Concord. Concord is the first time I've offered a tofu burger. And people love it. It's very popular for the folks that like tofu. I didn't like tofu until last year. Like I never would eat it at the beginning.
Well, doesn't it just take on the taste of what you cook with it? That's what I hear. I tried it when Tyler was vegan. We went away for a weekend and I committed to eating vegan with him all weekend. And
yeah. I mean, it's yes and no. Like I never ate it at the beginning because it just tastes like stuff. It's not right. It doesn't give me a feeling right. Like it was just weird. It's got a weird wiggly feeling.
Yeah.
Kind of like Jell-O that's supposed to be
firm or extra firm or
what is that? I just didn't, it wasn't a thing for me. I didn't really love it and I didn't eat it. And now I have because I've figured it out, right? Like I figured out some ways that it can be delicious and satisfying and give me a bite and a chew and even like a tear, right? Like I can get that vibe from it and I can use it in that way. I also love it in desserts. We do like a peanut butter mousse in a chocolate cup that's frozen. And that is a high protein snack that feels like you're having like a Reese's mousse.
Yum.
It feels like you're being so bad, but you're actually really having a high protein snack that's super low in sugar. And yeah, love that. But I get that, right? I think coming to this kind of plant-based eating as late in my life as I did, I'm very sensitive to that. The mouthfeel on this is not right. It looks lovely in that picture, but it feels like weirdness in my mouth.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And I'm not trying to do that. I want something that if I ever got my dad to take a bite, that he would want to take another bite. That's the point.
I love it. So for someone that has not been to the Sleazy Vegan, walk us through the front door.
We're a tiny little spot right now. You can come into the cafe for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. We serve all of the things all of the time. So if you're hungry for a meatball sub at 8 o'clock in the morning, you can have that. And if you want a breakfast burrito at 8 o'clock at night, you can have that. I'm that girl. I'm going to eat.
I am like that too.
Right? Like
Love
breakfast
it.
for dinner is one of my favorites.
I actually don't like breakfast, which is weird. I own a diner, but
breakfast is my jam. But yeah, like I will eat.
So the full menu any time of the day.
All the time. You can order.
Do you order up at the counter and go sit down?
Yeah, or either or. You can, the place is tiny. There's 5 tables, right? If you holler from one of the tables, I'm going to know. Or Zoe, who's probably at the front desk, is going to know. But yeah, so it can either be order and sit down and enjoy your food there or take it with you. We do delivery through DoorDash. And we do curbside pickup because we have a really cool little spot where if you call me as you're coming around, I can literally run it out to the crosswalk and stick it in your window as you drive by.
Oh, cool.
So we can be a very, very close curbside pickup. Catering, business catering. Business catering is still one of my big targets. I just wish more folks would know about us. So I got to get that out there. Well, I think, and again, understand that they're solving the problem for everyone, right? I did Manchester leadership and there was like 3 of us that were eating vegan at the time or plant-based or vegetarian. And like every single time that we ate, all we got was a salad. And it was just like, this is not going to sustain me.
Yeah, no way.
I'm gonna bite somebody's arm off, right? Like you need to be able to feed everybody. And we can. You can ask us to cater. You don't even have to tell anybody that it was us. It can be our secret.
Right.
We've done a few different weddings now where 250 person wedding and they don't tell that it's vegan.
Oh,
7 past apps, 7 items on the buffet table. And no, it's not an announcement. It's not like I show up with my logo, when we're catering. You don't have to tell everybody. Just call us and give us a shot and we'll cater for your business group or for your family luncheon. And then we'll talk about how we do it in cooking classes.
I love it. All right.
And then events. We're really still doing the food trucker thing, just without the food truck. So last year we have all of our branded gear, tables, tents, grills, that whole bit. Rent a U-Haul, go out, do our event, throw it in the back of the U-Haul at the end of the day. So you can expect to see us around.
Okay, so go to thesleazyvegan.com and you'll have all your list of where you're going to be and events. And
there's a link for where to find us and you can check there or follow our socials.
And again, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 9 to 8.
8 to 8.
8 to 8. And then Sunday, 9 to 3. Love it.
Special menu on Sunday that we'll make it up every week and publish it a week in advance for what the brunch menu is.
So Sunday's a brunch menu.
Yeah.
Okay.
This coming Sunday, we are doing our berry French toast, which is do a strawberry and a blueberry reduction. And then French toast with 2 different kinds of whipped cream, an almond whipped cream and a coconut whipped cream in between them. And then you get fresh berries in between each layer, the berry reduction and maple syrup. We've got an eggplant steak. So it's a fillet of eggplant.
Ooh, I love eggplant.
Then we coat in just egg. And so it's almost like if you had a scrambled egg wrapped around your eggplant steak and served. It's really hearty. Like you cut into it. It's lovely. So we've got our eggplant steak, breakfast potatoes, obviously. What's the other thing we're doing this Sunday? I forget.
It sounds amazing. Well, we are going to a lightning round.
Oh, geez. Okay.
It's just a fun thing. I love asking these questions. It's just fun. All right. So cinnamon rolls or sourdough?
Oh, sourdough cinnamon rolls.
Oh, okay. My mother's into the sourdough thing right now. My sister-in-law, my mother. Oh, my gosh.
We are too.
Yeah,
we are
fun.
making sourdough cinnamon rolls every week.
Ooh, okay. Wow. That was a great first question. Maybe she knew. Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
The dish you are most proud of that you created?
It changes probably every week. I'm going to say, let's go with the meatballs. I think it was the first thing that I ever made, right? I made some for my neighbor who took some to the VA so that we fed a bunch of guys that weren't looking for plant-based anything a meatball sub and didn't tell them. And that's the first thing that I ever did that was like towards the idea of could we do a food truck?
I'm like salivating right now.
The meatball sub slaps. Like I don't think I've ever had anybody try our meatball sub and be like, oh, but it was just lacking. It's not. It's like an Italian meatball sub.
Oh my goodness. One ingredient you absolutely cannot live without.
Ginger. I love fresh ginger and fresh herbs, but ginger. I use ginger all the time.
Okay. Corned beef hash, vegan virgin, obviously, or eggs Benedict?
No, both.
I'm with you both. You probably answered this question. I think I know the answer. The dish that surprises carnivores the most.
Yeah,
probably
a burger. I think our burger.
Okay.
Our burger
I was thinking the meatball.
A big win. Our burger or our kofta burger, which is like a Greek burger, right? So we fold in dill, mint, and cilantro into the burger blend that we make. And then it gets topped with yogurt dill sauce and pickled onions. And that is, it's such a Mediterranean happy mouth vibe. Yeah, that's a good one.
Booth or counter?
Counter.
What do you eat when nobody's watching?
All the things. All the things.
What is your go-to spot in Concord besides your own kitchen? Do you have one?
I don't, because that's my biggest regret really is I haven't done anything except this for the last 4 years.
Okay,
right?
fair enough.
We don't get anywhere. If I do, it's because I'm picking up my food from the co-op and I'm going to go hit their back bar. And Zach usually has a couple of things back there that are vegan. So I'm almost always going to be able to get something good at the co-op.
Cool. You're at the Red Arrow. What are you ordering?
I don't know. It's been a fat minute since I've been there. I think, honestly, I would probably have to, just because I'm there. I don't know if you even still have them. Smiley fries.
Jeez. I'm not sure. We must, right? That was like the kids.
It was always like my daughter used to get smiley fries and chicken tenders.
That was always a big deal.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I have to find that out.
I would probably want smiley fries and like sriracha ketchup.
Yum. One word that describes what it feels like when food actually heals something. Someone.
Relief.
Someone.
Relief. Right? Like that's really all we're looking for is a little relief. Yeah.
And you felt that.
100%. And freedom.
What would you be doing if you had never started the Sleazy Vegan?
Oh, good grief.
Riding on your sailboat.
I would probably be writing. Yeah. I might be picking up my camera again. Photography was the first career before software. So I might be using the camera and writing right now. That might be the thing. Okay. Although that's a lie. That's a fantasy. That's not what I'd be doing. What I'd be doing right now is AI. I'd be coding and I'd be building a business with AI because that's easy money. That's probably what I'd be doing.
All right. When you look at everything that you've built, from that first ghost kitchen to Aggie on the road to the Concord Cafe, what are you most proud of? And what do you want people to know about what you're doing here in New Hampshire that they might not see on the surface?
I think I'm most proud of us, like my family unit, because it has taken my whole family unit to make this work. From the outside, you see awards and you see lines at an event and you see happiness. That does not make a profitable business. That's a wonderful advertisement. And to do a plant-based business where the price of plants has gone up 80% since the year we started has been beyond challenging.
Yeah.
It is not for the faint of heart. Yeah. It is not for somebody who's not in it to prove this thing, right? Like I'm in it to prove the thing and to make a difference in people's lives. I am also doing the Black Diamond here in New Hampshire, right? Like this is not my whole end all be all. this is still a prototype. And I feel like if we can make the Sleazy Vegan successful in a place like New Hampshire, then we have a lot of other opportunities.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Goodness. Well, Kelley-Sue, KSL, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, the Sleazy Vegan in Concord. Go find them. Go take someone who told you that they would never eat vegan food and watch their face when they take their first bite. Because I know I cannot wait until Daryl and I go and take that first bite. And it's going to be either, well, actually, I'll make him get the burger and I'll get the meatball or vice versa, because I cannot wait to try that. Everything you need is at thesleazyvegan.com. Follow them on social media. Search Sleazy Vegan. And to everyone watching and listening to Beyond the Plate, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and share this episode with someone who needs a good story today. We drop new ones every Tuesday, and you'll be seeing me soon. Thank you.
I love this. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.